I was. Well, not over Christmas. I got it just before the lockdown. And that's when I kind of figured out how to jailbreak it and stuff. But... Theoretically, for academic purposes. But there's a user on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, @DaraWV. And he actually updates new patches and firmware that comes out and new modules. And one of the new modules that they're working on right now, and there's a proof of concept up, is Dreamcast. So... Yeah,
what?
Yeah. So Redream, yeah,
Dreamcast games on a Vita.
Yeah, so Redream is the emulator that you'd use on computers. He was able to render Redream on Vita, so it's not out yet, but we're very close, and it's very exciting. So fair play. It's truly impressive, because I honestly thought you could do Dreamcast on like RetroArch or something. You can't do it on the Vita. It's not powerful enough. Until now. So it looks like that's going to be happening relatively soon.
To be fair, the Vita was a surprisingly little powerful console for being kind of a juiced up PSP. The fidelity it had for especially the time it came out was leaps and bounds ahead of what the old, because that was around the time of the original DS.
No, kind of, sort of.
I think so.
Kind of, sort of. But the thing of it is,
maybe the 3DS.
The 3DS.
Maybe the 3DS.
Because I had a DS and a PSP at the same time.
Yeah, the PSP in itself is a great little emulation device. It pretty much plays everything up to the N64. Nothing really plays the N64 except the computer or the original Xbox. It's the only thing I've been able to find that runs an N64 without it dying. But the Vita is able to run pretty much everything. But it did have limitations at the PlayStation 2. And it had limitations at the Dreamcast because it wasn't there. Both of these things now look like they're going to have proof of concept, because you can actually play Wolfenstein, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, no problem on the Vita. Just straight away.
Awesome.
The GOG game.
That's so cool.
You can just play it and it works fine. But I would say give it 6 months and we'll have the Dreamcast. And that, if that happens, because I'll be straight, I actually bought a Vita for that reason. And then when it wasn't there, I was like, oh, okay, kind of bummed out. But it looks like it's going to happen, so I'm ecstatic. So look, the PlayStation hardware is fantastic.
I bought a Vita for about the same reason maybe half people that own a Vita bought a Vita, and that was for Persona 4 Golden.
That's fair. That's fair.
Only thing.
Yeah, no. I actually see, that's the thing, on the surface it's a very poor console, but it was given a very poor life. There's a great YouTube channel called Tech James, and of course he, for academic purpose, theoretically shows you how to jailbreak and add stuff and all this kind of stuff. And it's one of the best YouTube channels around, because he goes through great detail how to do it, step by step by step. And
theoretical step.
Of course. Every single person who I've talked to has a Vita is like, if they haven't done that, they enjoy it, but not as much as you can. And you can do so much with it. You put a 128 gig SD card in it, and you have a fantastic little retro gaming device on top of having some really cool first and third party games. Mortal Kombat 9 is on it, and it runs perfectly.
And I think as well, it makes up for the fact that it, through the PlayStation Store as well, it supports a lot of old PSP games. And the PS, if you had the Vita but with the PSP's lineup, it'd be a really solid
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Now here's the thing, of course we're being theoretical here.
Obviously theoretical.
You can install a thing called Adrenaline, which is a PSP emulator inside the Vita.
Yeah.
So, basically you can do whatever you want with the Vita to a point, and that point is about to be extended. So I would say, guys, keep an eye out. But here's the challenge. Here is the challenge, my friends. The actual exploit doesn't work on late PSP firmware. So if you have anything beyond 3.67, if you have 3.7, you're screwed. So that's the challenge. So that's
what
the challenge.
About Nintendo DS games though? Because I have to imagine they just can't be ported by way of the two screens and the touch being essential.
Well, funny that you mentioned that, because last week they released a working 3DS emulator on Android.
Really?
So you can just download it, and it's free. You can just download it now, and it will run.
Theoretically speaking.
No, not theoretically. This is they didn't break any laws. This is fine, but you have to find your own games, obviously. But
You're gonna have to talk me through that off the air because I'm missing an entire generation's worth of Fire Emblem games that you need to get caught up on.
oh man, and it's great. You know, like I will have to say one of the hardest things to theoretically crack are Nintendo consoles because they're so annoying. But
they're so just like hard linked to the hardware that they're on.
Yeah.
that
Yes,
Nintendo
exactly.
have a
Yeah,
difficult
yeah.
time separating them from it.
But basically, the exploit to break a 3DS are bad games that cost €4. You actually have to buy the games to exploit their code because of buffer overflow. And that's how it works. That's how you get the exploit in and install God mode. With the PlayStation, it's just like, oh yeah, here's the back door, just walk in. You know, it's like, that's it. Like, it's just, they just didn't patch it out and they went in and got it. But the Vita still has an active support, which is really awesome. That in 2020, that's the console to have now. That's the handheld, not the Switch, not anything like that. A PS Vita, it's great. But it's great despite Sony, and that's the truth. It's like the
That's right. It is great despite Sony.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
The funny little lifestyle thing I heard about the Vita, like, because again, like most people here, like, know that like the Vita crashed,
Oh
just
yeah.
like in Western sales.
Hard.
Hadn't it?
Hard.
The reason it like got its support, it was supported by Sony as long as it was because it had a stellar life in Japan, simply as a visual novel simulator, as like a visual novel.
But that's the
TV.
thing.
Oh, I could see that working.
But that's what I use it for too.
Yeah,
It has a great visual. Like it's one of the best ways. Like the actual games that it has in the range. If you tune in the right way, and there's something else theoretically, of course, that allows you to access the entire library of everything on it for free. Theoretically, educational purposes, of course, and you can just see what's all there. You can go through Japan games, European games, UK games. It's all there. And I would say if you're looking for a place to start, go over to Tech James' channel. He is awesome, and you'll see all that content there. But the Vita is great, guys. I can also stream from the Vita. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to do some street reviews. So have a look at that. And I would say that's my recommendation. My hard recommendation of a console is the Vita. I don't know. Have you guys ever looked at the PlayStation TV?
I haven't.
I tried using it earlier today, actually.
Oh, you have one?
I literally started trying to use it earlier. It's like the remote. I tried using the remote play function from the PS4 to use it, and my Wi-Fi connection just isn't strong enough. That signal. So,
Oh god. Yeah, it sounds like it's a hardware
it's
hardline thing.
like using the Steam Link. If you're not gonna have a fully wired connection, it's a waste of time.
You know what? I was actually trying to figure that out with the Steam Link. I don't know if you guys have ever used it, but it's a pretty cool little bit of tech. But it's the worst thing in the world if you don't have a hardline connection. And then my friend was like, "Are you using Wi-Fi?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Don't use Wi-Fi." And I'm like, "Yeah." I don't know. It just never occurred to me that was the problem. And I
think like when I first heard it was like you are streaming like PS3. I know it's like PS3 and back, but like PS3 games completely over wireless. It just seems unfair.